Hi, my name's Dr. David Utzke, and I am doing a myCPE short today. And this one again involves cybersecurity and cyber crimes types activities. I worked for roughly the last 30 years in the cyber crimes, cybersecurity, arenas, as well as for the last 35 plus years in digital assets, distributed ledger technology, augmented reality, virtual reality, which when put together is extended reality, and you throw mixed reality into that bucket as well, and many converging technologies like the technologies behind artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and the like. So the component of cyber attack that I'd like to share with you today was actually just recently announced, about where CISA, NSA, and MSIS AC, which for those of you that may not be familiar with that organization, that is what's referred to as the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center, which is kind of a standalone executive cybersecurity component. But they put out a joint advisory on an attack that they identified recently, and it's legitimately, well, the cyber attack isn't legitimate, but the fact that they're using legitimate software, specifically remote monitoring management software, or oftentimes referred to as RMM software, they're using it for malicious purposes. And so one of the things that they found is that the identification of the attack actually involved the federal government, and specifically the federal civilian executive branch. So these are the executives within the federal government. So one of the takeaways from this attack is how targeted an attack can be. It doesn't have to be these broad phishing email attacks. It can actually be directed very specifically at certain groups. So I think that's one of the biggest things to take away. But the federal government, well, specifically CISA, using what's called the Einstein Intrusion Detection System, identified what basically in mid-October, a silent push report that was put out. So the activity is linked to really a widespread financially motivated phishing campaign by silent push, and so I think the aspect of this to really again take a look at is that when you look at the business email campaign attacks, where it would attack broad corporate organizations through email phishing attacks, we're now using legitimate software to infiltrate systems. And I think it's worth mentioning that employees, whether they're executives or frontline employees, are still the weakest point for organizations. And as the geopolitical environment globally has become more unstable, this has become more of an issue, and will continue to become more of an issue going forward. And ransomware gangs are actually employing what's called callback social engineering attacks. And that's what this particular attack falls into, this category of callback. So how this actually works, and one of the callbacks being used by ransomware gangs is called Bizarre Call. And Bizarre Call, the method behind it is, really around early 2021, which was when it was introduced, begins with targeting employees of a company or an entire industry. In this particular case, it was the federal government, and specifically within the federal government, executives from multiple agencies. And they tailor the phishing campaigns accordingly for maximum efficiency. And so with Bazaar Call, in that particular case, and all of these callback attacks basically follow this same thing. It starts with an email informing that a subscription that the recipient has supposedly been paying for is about to automatically renew, and that canceling the payment is possible by calling a specific number. So these RMMs within the Microsoft framework and other softwares like that are being used in conjunction with these callbacks. And so here's kind of what happens with the social engineering aspect. It basically distracts the victim. And I don't know how many of these emails that I get all the time. Hey, your subscription's about ready to run out. If you don't want to renew it, click here or call this number. And so that's how this federal campaign with the executives actually began to work. And so the callback phishing attacks do include a link, but the threat actors, it doesn't actually take you to a threat actor's website. And what it does is lure you to a high price subscription renewal to convince the target to call a listed phone number. So again, the days of web page cloning and things like that have really morphed to hey, we're trying to convince them we're an IT department, and we need to get this squared away, kind of thing. And so what you have then is the emails embedded in these malicious links. Instead, the phishing domains are designed to really impersonate high-profile brands like Amazon, Microsoft, PayPal, and the like. And so clicking the embedded link basically opens the default web browser and automatically downloads the malware. And the download portable versions of AnyDesk and Screen Connect basically connect the attackers to the RMM server. So all of this said is you've got to be careful with the emails. Scammers are using software to become less detectable, and certainly using legitimate software like RMM allows them to hide for much longer. Again, the attack on the federal government, they believe started in June of 2022, and it wasn't until January of 2023 that they actually issued a report and began taking some actions here. So with that in mind, be conscious, be aware from a personal and from a corporate standpoint that emails still tend to be the intrusion method, although behind the email you still have these links that are downloading malware. No matter how legitimate they may seem, you've got to always be skeptical. And that is again, I hope you enjoyed the myCPE short and learned from it.